Moving on now, we'll look at part 2 of inheritance, and we'll actually look at the way that this is structured. So we are going to see this again in a live coding demo later on, but this is the down payment on that. We're going to look at the idea of having a superclass and subclasses, and what we're going to do is we're going to build that out through the course of this chapter. So here at the very beginning, this is page 613. We're going to have the idea of a graded activity. So again, this is like I made the suggestion at the previous video, is what do we call the thing that hovers above everything that we're looking at? So if you as a student take a class and you have homework assignments, right? And you've got end of chapter program challenges, and you've got program challenges, and you've got projects, and you've got midterm, and you've got final, what do all of those group into? So for this in our text, and again, we could shop out the name of this if we were all developing this in unison, as part of an activity to name a little bit better the development that we're working with. But here we already have it done for us. So this is graded activity. So a final project is a graded activity. A midterm project is a graded activity. Each one of those end of chapter program exercises is a graded activity. And that starts to make sense when you think about it. So what do all graded activities have in common? And we're going to group those here under a public class called graded activity. That's on line number 5. Again, this is page 613, and that's not changed any from our previous examples. So here in our public class graded activity, we have one private member, and that is going to be a double for score. So just keep that in mind for the time being. It's a private member. We have public static void public void rather, for set score. So we have an accessor for this, mutator for that. So again, a mutator is just something that allows us to change a variable's value, and an accessor allows us to return a variable's value. So I got that backwards there. I do apologize. As we continue down, so if we have a set score mutator, we would have a get score accessor, so a set and a get. And as we continue down, we also have a get grade. So the get grade takes the standard grading distribution and returns a letter grade A through F. So we have these distinct pieces that are part of our graded activity class. We've got one field here that's for double score, and remember that it's private. We've got set score, and get grades as our method. So this is the super class, because are you ever really going to do a graded activity, or are you really going to do something that is more specific, right? This is our general class category, is graded activity. So even though it functions that we can, and this is page 614, even though it functions that we could create a new graded activity called grade, and we can test that graded activity by passing to it a score, and it can return to us the grade value that score would do. But again, that's our general class. The whole point here for inheritance is not to use the general class, but it's to use the more specific subclasses for this. So the big wrinkle we're going to see here is a final exam, and this is on page 616. So a final exam extends graded activity. So what this line number 5 on 616 tells us to do is, if we are Java, we are going to create a new class called final exam. And it is going to derive, so inherit from graded activity. So you'll notice we have a private int number of questions, private double points each, and private int number missed. So we've got our, on line 18, here is our 2-argument constructor. We are taking in number of questions, so questions, and int missed, so that's the questions missed. You can tell the authors have not been actively instructing in a while, because this is like bass backwards for the way most of us think about how to do scores for things. So points each, 100 divided by number of questions. Numeric score, 100 minus the missed times points each. That all makes sense to all of us, I think. So that is the constructor. As we continue, we've got get points each and get number missed. So those correspond to the subclass here, right? Because those are the fields we have here. But you'll notice we don't have set score, and get grade. Those all exist in the super class. But if we continue on, this is not, here we go. This is on page 618. We can see that the fields for number of questions are declared in final exam. We just saw that. Points each declared in final exam. Missed declared in final exam. But these methods include those we declared in final exam and include the ones they inherited from graded activity. So those methods that we created in our superclass filtered down into our subclass because of this line right here. Line number 5 on page 616, public class final exam right here. There's the magic. Extends graded activity. So what that does is it creates this symbolic link between graded activity and final exam. And Java, as part of its job, will remember which of those is the superclass and which of those is the subclass. And that's something we'll talk about, the importance of Java being able to remember that later on down the line. So if we continue, just to look at the demo for this, I will put this as a live code demo in a Replit link for you guys, but you actually do have access to this with the student files that did come with your text. It's just one fewer layer of BS for you guys to have to go through, and this is on 619 and 620, I believe. So what we've got here is we've got our input that's coming from our J option pane there. So we are getting our number of missed questions, etc. And here we are creating on line number 27 a new object from the final exam class called exam. So you'll notice new final exam, and we're passing to it the 2 parameters we need, number of questions, number missed. And here you'll notice we have exam.getScore. So we're calling to our method getScore, right? That's not working very well at all. There we go. We are calling to getScore, but you'll remember that getScore is inherited from graded activity. We did not need to recreate getScore here on page 616 when we created our final exam class. So that's what, the magnificent power of inheritance gets us. Is, look, if we can go downstream from our superclass to derived subclasses, so we can extend down numerous different classes. So we could say vehicle, truck, passenger truck, vehicle, truck, dump truck, vehicle, truck, delivery truck, like that. Extend, extend, extend. What we don't have to do is recreate everything every time we bring a new kind of class on board. And as a developer, the less we have to do that, the less prone to error we are. So inheritance is really a fantastic addition to your developer's toolkit because it reduces the amount of coding you have to do over time.